So there's also a biological truism on the genetic front. And so, for example, and it's summed up in the phrase, there is no breeding for evolutionary fitness. Like you cannot rationally breed a variant of cattle, for example, that are going to be more successful at surviving in the ecology of cattle. It's not possible. And part of the reason for that, as far as I can tell, it's a deep problem. Part of the reason for that is that the horizon of the future actually transforms unpredictably, like actually unpredictably, technically unpredictably. It's not deterministic. And what that means is that you cannot make a rational calculation that will determine a priori what direction evolution should go in order to be more successful. And it's also for that reason that what the evolutionary process does is capitalize on actual random chance in order to produce variants that can meet the transforming horizon of the future. And so now the theory has been forever that genetic mutation is random. And part of the reason for that is that part of its mechanism, there are a variety, one of its mechanisms is the damage of DNA molecules by cosmic rays, which is definitely random. But you know, there was a study published a year ago or 2 years ago in Nature. This is so interesting and bears on our issues here, that even though the mechanism of variability at the DNA molecule level is truly random, there are repair mechanisms that fix damage to DNA molecules. And there's a hierarchy of genes such that some genes are so crucial to morphological development that if they mutate, death is virtually certain, or severe limitation, right, on the reproductive front, virtually certain. Whereas there are other variations that are permissible within the realm of likely survivability. And the accuracy of the repair mechanisms is proportionate to the depth of profundity of the genetic code. The genes that are most crucial to survival are repaired with 100% accuracy. So there's room for variation at the fringe. Now, the reason I brought that up is partly because there's an implication in the futurist, post-humanist types that they could breed a better person by rational means. But that means accepting the proposition a priori that you can compute what constitutes better rationally, that you actually know enough about that. And that's also a derivation of the notion that we can create our own values. And I don't think any of that's actually tenable. I think it's likely to produce all sorts of catastrophic, unpredicted outcomes. That's much more likely. Like those would be mutations that are counterproductive in every way, so to speak. That's much more likely than the notion that we're going to hit the target more squarely by mucking about with our Luciferian rationality.